All right, so we're talking about Mann Lake's Superior pollen trap. I've never used this one, so we've had a couple of people ask us for pollen. We've never really done it before, so we're going to test this out. We ordered it the other day, came in. It actually came in and it was damaged. Mann Lake right away shipped us out a brand new box, so great company. Thank you, Mann Lake. We'll test this out. We'll be putting a review up there. We'll see how it works, but I just wanted to kind of go over the whole thing here with you so you kind of get an idea of how it works if you're interested in getting a pollen trap. So first, there's a collection drawer here. It's got metal mesh wire in there, really fine screen, and that's going to slide in here. Now this is reversible, so it's got, and I painted this. I mean, it came, bare wood. I painted it with whatever Home Depot has for cheap paint. We just keep it around. But you can remove these two screws here, and then take this piece out, and then insert it on this side. It's made for palletized hives. I'm not sure how many of you keep hives on pallets. I mean, you keep them on pallets to move them around, but not all the hives are that way. But this works great. You can, if you've got hives stacked together or something like that, you can only take it out the left. It's fine that way. You can move it around. Then the way that it works is in the front here, there's some little holes. So you can hold that up there. So there's some little holes here, 4 holes, and there's little rubber tubes. I'll take those out and I'll show you what those do. And then there's this slot. And when you want the bees to collect pollen, they'll go in that slot and then into this body down here, and they'll go across, and there's the mesh that they're going to kind of go through, and that rubs the pollen off of their legs. When you don't want them to collect pollen, because you don't want to be collecting pollen all the time. They're going to need that stuff. You have these tubes. So you got 4 little rubber tubes. You insert the tube in here. Well, that was hard. I put a little paint on there, so they may be hard to get in. Anyways, those tubes will go in there, like so, and then the bees will enter in that tube rather than this slot. I don't see myself using the tubes. I'm just gonna cover the slot up when I don't want them to use it. Leave the holes up here when they do. I'm probably gonna make something that sits up there, little blocks. I'll show a video of that when I go to actually install this on the hive, and I'll show you how it gets on the hive. But we'll cover up those. So the slot is covered. Now the bees enter in those holes, and then the hive body will sit up here. And so when they go in those holes, all the only ways that they'll be able to go in is to come in, and they'll come up through the regular hive body, like they would if this wasn't there. So when you're not collecting pollen, you're going to block this slot off, and the bees will use these 4 holes to enter the hive. And it's pretty simple. So inside this piece here, see if you can see it, there's mesh. So you've got like a screen sort of bottom board, and that's under the slot. It goes this way, it's under the slot. And then you have a series of, it's basically 2 pieces of screen. So it's screen like this, and as they go through it, it pulls that pollen off their legs. You don't want them to be collecting pollen all the time. They need it for brood, they need it for food, they need to make, they need to store it, especially over the winter time. We're still getting a lot of pollen in right now. I just checked on a couple hives that really have a lot of pollen stored. So we're going to install this, may get some. I mean, it's the beginning of November. I'm just going to test it out, kind of see how it works, how much I get collected over the next, maybe a couple weeks. But then really, again, in the spring, we're going to order, well, we've got 2 other ones, and then we're maybe going to order a couple more, just kind of see how this one works. And there's a couple other models that we might try out. But anyways, this is the Superior pollen trap. It's from Mann Lake. I think it was about $75 or something like that. But it's another way for you to make some money beekeeping and collect pollen. It's very healthy for the pollen. There's a couple people who have asked us for it. One of the girls from Walking Tree Brewery says she uses a lot of pollen in their foods, and works to keep allergies at bay. If you have any questions, feel free to message us, like and subscribe to our page. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Papa Bees Honey.